Thank you very much for being here today. This is a very important day for us, for celebrations and for good news. Joining me for today's press conference with Dr. Holliday of the Kentucky Department of Education are my colleagues on the school board, and I would like to introduce them to you. Vice Chair Carol Haddad, District 6. Board Member Jones is not here yet, but he's on his way. Debbie Westland, District 3. Chuck Hathaway, District 4. Linda Duncan, District 5. And Chris Brady, District 7. Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. Also with us this afternoon are members of the Kentucky Legislative Delegation. If you would stand so we could recognize you. Thank you. Metro Council members, if there are any Metro Council members here, if they would please stand. Okay, and Mayor Greg Fischer is on the way. Audwin Helton, a member of the Jefferson County Public Education Foundation, who's representing the business community. Mr. Helton. And our most compassionate, wonderful mayor, Mayor Greg Fischer. The Jefferson County School Board has been heavily invested in advancing student achievement for many years. This local school board believes that under Dr. Hargens' dynamic and data-driven leadership, we now have a solid and tested plan for continuous improvement that will work for all students. However, we acknowledge that a large urban district of our size has some unique challenges, and as such, it may take some time and dedicated resources to achieve the level of excellence. That is our and the community's ultimate goal. It is difficult to move a district of our size to the top academically in a year or two. Be assured, though, that this school board, your teachers, administrators, our students and parents, and our community expect educational excellence, and we intend to deliver it. As Coach Patino said recently, coaches ride the coattails of their players into the Hall of Fame. Coaches do not put a single point on the board, nor do they block a single shot. It's the same with school board members. We do not teach a single class. We do not take the achievement test. But we do provide the people, the plan, the resources, and the facilities for teachers to teach and for students to learn. Your school board is committed to targeting our resources to help those students who have fallen behind to reach grade level, for those who are on grade level to move beyond, and for those achieving above grade level to maintain and gain on that success. So today, my fellow JCPS board members and I ask you to join us in applauding the teachers, the staff, the students, and their families who have achieved some significant increases this past year by following our improvement plan and doing the hard work required to achieve these significant gains. While we rejoice at our collective success, we acknowledge there is still much room for improvement to move every student to grade level or above. That is why today's test scores are so important to us. They provide us with an excellent diagnostic tool to identify our weaknesses and enable us to more effectively target needed changes. Before I invite Dr. Hargens up, I would like to recognize Board Member David Jones. Thank you for being here. With that, I invite Superintendent Hargens to summarize our recent test scores and to share a few of our strategies for targeting those areas that the test scores identify as needing immediate attention and remediation. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Chairwoman Porter. Early this morning, the Kentucky Department of Education released the results from the Unbridled Learning Accountability Model for districts all across this great Commonwealth. These scores, remember, are from tests students took last spring at the end of the 12-13 school year. What we learned from today's release is that our district is making progress. And while we are not where we want to be, it is clear that we are moving in the right direction. This progress is a result of the strategic plan that was developed and improved by our Board of Education and is built upon curriculum management audit recommendations and powerful practices that have proven to be successful in turning around school systems across the country. In fact, many of the strategies that we've implemented within the district are the same practices that my colleague Dr. Holliday successfully used during his time as superintendent in North Carolina. We now need to ensure that what is working is happening in every one of our schools so that it benefits every one of our students. To help you better understand our results, I'd just like to take a few minutes to walk you through them. Everyone knows that when I came to Kentucky in 11-12, that Kentucky led the country in implementing the Common Core and testing for the first time on the more rigorous standards. This is the first time that JCPS has met its target. Our score in 2012 was 50.8. Our target was 51.8. We're proud to say that we exceeded our target with a score of 52.2. And as you all know, the accountability model has 5 pieces: college and career readiness, graduation rate, achievement, gap, and growth. And from this chart, you can see we improved our scores in college and career readiness, in gap, moving our gap students closer to proficiency, in achievement, and in graduation rate. And even though students in the Jefferson County Public School System grew, we know that we need to have them grow faster and move faster towards proficiency. And overall in our achievement area, you can see that in elementary and middle and high, in all the subjects tested, that we increased achievement on all levels. But if you look at each of the levels, you can see the different subject areas, and it gives clear indications about where the arrows are going in the right direction and where we need to make improvement. So what you can see in elementary is that we gained 5.2 percentage points in math, but we have real work to do in reading. And I'm so glad to work with the Board of Education that understands that reading and early childhood and focusing on that is extremely important. When you look in middle school, you see arrows going in the right direction, except for science. But we know that we lag behind the state in middle schools, and that there is work to do here. At high schools, you can see that arrows are going in the right direction. We had a problem in Algebra 2 in terms of the scores going down, and that really reflected a problem in the state with arrows going down. And we're going to talk about college and career readiness and graduation rate in a few minutes. So growth, remember that's the area where students need to grow faster than other students that are growing, that are like them. So we know that even though our students grew, that we need to go faster with our students in growth. In terms of gap, those are students that all comprise a gap group. So all students count as one in a gap group. The goal is to move them toward proficiency. So you can see on the elementary, middle, and high school level that we're moving students, those gap students, toward proficiency. But I can tell you that no one in this room is satisfied with that level of proficiency for our gap students. We know that we need to do better, and we will do better. When you combine reading and math, if you did look at the lens of how different subgroups are doing, even though they're all in the same gap group, you can see that each group is progressing, but we're not satisfied with the disparities here. We're not satisfied that some of our students aren't achieving at a higher level. So we have, even though we have progress in every group, we know that we have lots to do to reach our goal of making sure that every student is proficient and that every student graduates prepared. In college and career readiness, from the 9-10 school year to the 10-11 school year, we increased only by 1 percentage point. But from the 10-11 school year to the 11-12 school, my first year in the district, congratulations to all of the high schools because we increased by double digits. And if you add this year's increase to that, we're up to 51.2%, which is a 19.2 percentage gain in 2 years. Congratulations to our students. And we know that the state is at 54%, but we'll get there, Dr. Holliday, I assure you. Graduation and beyond. We know that there's a new model about how we're measuring graduation rate. It's called the cohort model. So what this slide does is depict the JCPS average, which is 76.5, and the state average. What I want to point out to you are our schools, our 7 schools that met or exceeded the state average. And I want to list them for you. Ballard, Brown, Butler, Central, Fairdale, which is a priority school, Mayo, Manual, and PRP. So congratulations to our high schools that met or exceeded the state average. So we've got college and career readiness going in the right direction. We've got graduation rate going in the right direction. We have achievement going in the right direction, and we're moving our GAP students toward proficiency. Now the district met its target, its Kentucky target, but we had 75 schools in this district that met their Kentucky target. So I've asked some of my friends, some students in the Jefferson County Public School System to show us how many of our schools made their target. So Erin Crittenden is from Fern Creek Elementary. She's here to tell us that 46 elementary schools met their target and met their goal. So congratulations to those 46 elementary schools. And I know that Erin is on her way to being college and career ready, and that Erin told me that she wants to work with animals and have a career working with animals. So congratulations to the elementary schools and to Erin. Thank you very much. Next, Decorah Thornton Malone is from Carithers Middle School. She's here to tell you that 9 JCPS middle schools actually met their target. So congratulations to those middle schools. And I know Decorah's on her way to being college and career ready because nothing less than that is acceptable, right, Decorah, at Carithers Middle School. So tell us what you want to do.
I want to go to the Air Force.
To the Air Force, isn't that great? Thank you, Decorah. Excellent. And actually, last but not least, Juan Mateo is a student at Southern High School. 20 high schools met their overall goal, which is almost all of the high schools. So Juan is a student at Southern High School. And Juan, tell us what your plans are for the future.
I'm planning to go to college, do my bachelor's.
Absolutely.
And do college soccer.
Absolutely. No plan but being college and career ready and going to college. So thank you, Juan, for representing all the high schools. So I'm pleased to have with me also a teacher from Fern Creek High School, Bo Baker, who is here to say that 75 JCPS schools met their target. And Bo was describing to me the concerted effort and discipline that's gone on at Fern Creek High School over the last 4 years to increase college readiness and graduation rates. So congratulations to all the schools. So 75 schools, but are we satisfied with that? Absolutely not. We want all of our schools. Thank you all very much for displaying that. So we have lots of successful schools. So clearly we know what's working. So let me just highlight some of the things that we know are working in the Jefferson County Public School System. We know that what is working is an intentional, data-driven focus by students, teachers, staffs, and principals. We know that professional learning communities, when teachers collaborate and work in teams and design instruction and interventions for individual students, that's working. And our community actually visited Fern Creek High School and actually visited professional learning communities here today. We know that you can't wait till the end of the year when you see a summative assessment, that you have to know how students are doing along the way. So very effective uses of formative assessments to make sure that they're creating individualized learning plans for students. And we know that our Board of Education has been very serious about moving resources into schools where they actually can impact students and impact teachers and support teachers on a daily basis. And I would say that one of the powerful things that's happening and is working is our powerful partnership with KDE in our priority schools. Because we didn't mention it on the other slide, but 13 of 18 priority schools met their Kentucky target, their annual measurable objective. So what do we need to focus on? You saw the slides by every level. Reading, reading, reading. Reading is the #1 priority of our elementary schools. We know that we have work to do in Algebra 2 at high schools, as do all the other high schools in the state. And we know that we want middle schools to surpass the average in Kentucky and to even go beyond that. But we have a particular area in science where we didn't have the arrow going in the right direction. And the last thing I would say is it's not acceptable in Louisville, Kentucky, for students to not be growing at the pace of other students in this Commonwealth. So growth for all students is incredibly important. So the next steps. Dr. Hensley is leading a school improvement academy that's beginning October 9th. That is for schools that didn't meet their annual measurable objective so that we can focus on those best practices this year to make a difference this year. District-wide assessment analyses. We already do district-wide assessments, but we're going to sit down and make sure those schools actually know how to analyze and actually let that data inform practice. We're proud that we're rolling out completely next year, piloting this year, the professional growth and evaluation system. And that has been done in collaboration with JCTA, and we're working as partners to roll that out for the entire system. And we know that an effective, supported teacher in every classroom will help move us forward. And there'll be school support teams to provide feedback to schools that are working to improve. We have teachers. We call them goal clarity coaches, but they're teachers on the ground in every school whose job it is to support other teachers in the school and to make sure that they're growing and that professional learning communities are working effectively. We're proud to be a district of innovation. I want to make sure that everybody's paying attention to our District of Innovation community-wide school design competition that will kick off in October. We want to work with the entrepreneurs and the leaders in this community to design the next innovative magnet school in the Jefferson County Public School System. So we know you have great ideas, and we want to make sure that you're involved in that. And as you probably heard, we've proposed concepts to improve Frost Middle, which includes Valley High, Myers Middle, and Academy at Shawnee. So we're always working to improve and see what we can be doing differently. Now let's look at where we ranked in percentile rank. In 2010, we were at the 6th percentile. When I came to the district, we were at the 9th percentile. When we implemented the Common Core and assessed with the Common Core, we were at the 23rd percentile. After 1 year, our score puts us at the 32nd percentile. Not good enough, but we're making progress that we can see. Now let's talk about individual schools that are making progress. Let me give you the top 10 schools that have moved in their percentile rank. J-Town High School, from rank 10 to 37. Seneca High School, ranked in the 12th percentile. Their score now puts them at the 42nd percentile. Jefferson Elementary School, from the 34th percentile to the 65th percentile. Miners Lane started at the 7th percentile. They're now at the 39th percentile with their score. Central High School, from the 15th to the 48th percentile. Young Elementary, from the 14th to the 48th. Western Middle School started at the 4th. It's one of our priority schools. Has made it to the 38th percentile. Fern Creek Traditional High School, where we are, also a priority school, from the 26th to the 60th percentile. Breckenridge Franklin, from the 30th to the 64th percentile. And look at Field, from the 13th to the 78th percentile. So you can see that we're moving as a district because we're moving schools forward, and of course we're moving students forward. Despite these gains, we recognize and understand there is much work to be done. We are not satisfied with where we are. In fact, as I said before, we will not be satisfied until we achieve our vision of all students graduating prepared. But as Dr. Holliday and I both know, the progress we are making and striving for takes sustained commitment, discipline, and strong leadership. Within JCPS, we are fortunate to have thousands of teachers who serve as boots on the ground and are behind our efforts to move this district forward. That's where the power is, in the classroom. We applaud them for their commitment and willingness to stay the course. Would the teachers in the room stand up, and let's applaud them. Additionally, this afternoon, many of the principals whose leadership has contributed to the gains I just showed you that we shared today have joined us for this event. If the principals who are here this afternoon would please stand so that we may thank you for your leadership and your commitment. The work of the principals has been greatly assisted by the leadership within academic services, including Chief Academic Officer Dr. Dewey Hensley and his team of assistant superintendents. So I'd like them to stand. Dr. Hensley. So we thank them for all they do to support our students. Today's results prove that if we as a school district and community commit ourselves to creating an environment conducive to learning by providing the needed resources and support, then every child can learn. Next year, it is my expectation that more, if not all of the schools, will meet their annual goal. That is the commitment that we are making to this community, and that is our definition of success. As I close my comments, I hope that all of us will remember that behind every data point that I shared is a student who is counting on us. A student who is counting on us to help them be successful so that one day they will walk across the graduation stage, college and career ready, ready to achieve their dream. Data informs us, but it is the faces of students, like the wonderful students we saw today, Aaron, Juan, and Decorah, that move us forward and motivate and propel us to keep pushing. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Education, Dr. Terry Holliday. Dr. Holliday has described himself as a critical friend of the district. I think that the word that best describes the district's relation with KDE is partner, as the commissioner and his team has and will continue to be an integral part of the day-to-day work that occurs within our schools. It is an honor to have Dr. Holliday in the Jefferson County Public School System.
I did want to make sure I highlighted that we have two State Board of Education members that are serving from the Louisville area. We have one with us today, David Karam, former senator and chair of the State Board, and Mary Gwen Wheeler, who couldn't be with us today. But if you like what I do, tell me. If you don't like what I do, tell them. Okay. I also wanted to highlight, I don't know if I see her, but Dr. Kelly Foster is our Associate Commissioner that works with priority schools and locally, yeah. Locally, we got a ball of fire in Debbie Powers, who works with you every day. Thank you, Debbie. You know, we've got a lot of education recovery leaders who are in the schools every day working with principals and teachers. If you're in the room, stand up so we can recognize you. Education recovery leaders, thank you. You know, it's tough when your state commissioner blasts you in the newspaper about low performance. There are a lot of superintendents and school boards that would be defensive and say, woe is us, woe is me, these kids can't learn, we can't do anything, urban schools just can't do it. But I have been so impressed with the leadership of your superintendent and your school board. They didn't say, woe is me, they said, what can we do to help more kids? And they formed a partnership with us to work collaboratively. Just some of the bold moves you guys have made as a school board. I applaud the Jefferson County Teachers Association for working with you so closely on a contract that really was renewed in record time, I think, and with a focus on academic performance of students and providing these principals in the priority schools with the types of help they needed in hiring and moving instruction forward. So I really applaud that work that went on in this community. I applaud you for a time when there's a difficult budget, that you found money, $5 million, I believe, to extend the school day, to provide services to so many children who aren't quite ready. So there are many things I could list, and Dr. Hargen listed most of your initiatives up there, but I think quite often we miss a chance to really applaud the leadership at the district level. So would you join me in thanking Dr. Hargens and this board for their strong leadership? Well, I had the numbers that I was going to say, and now the rest of the story, but I don't have to. Dr. Hargens has already done that. I'm just amazed that these numbers haven't been out that long, And we've already got them up on the board. We already know what we're going to focus on next year. The principals have hit the ground running. So I'll just sum it up the way Dr. Hargens did. What this has all been about all from the very beginning has not been test scores. It has never been about self-glory for any superintendent or school board or commissioner of education. What this has been about from the beginning is those young people back there in the room and the three that we saw up front of the room. We want to tell parents very early, is your child on track to be ready for the next step after high school, college and career ready, or military ready, whatever the student's interest would be. So as early as 3rd grade, parents know that information. And they can track it 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, all the way through. What we've done in 3 short years with the tremendous leadership across Kentucky of superintendents and school boards, but the day-to-day nitty-gritty work in classrooms and leading schools, is this year, 2013, over 9,000 more students walked across the stage in Kentucky and got their high school diploma, and that high school diploma meant something. It meant something. It meant that they could go right into the military if they passed the physical. That's the hard part. It meant that they could go right into credit-bearing courses at technical colleges, certification programs, 2-year colleges, 4-year colleges, and mom and dad wouldn't have to pay for courses that they don't get any credit for. Students wouldn't have to take out loans and repay those loans for courses they don't get any credit for. A student who enters college with our seal of approval, college and career ready, is twice as likely to graduate from a 2-year, 4-year college or be successful in a career. Twice as likely. And Mayor, long term, in Louisville and in Kentucky, economic development. These kids who graduate from 2-year, 4-year and technical programs are going to add value to the Kentucky and Louisville economy. Now the rest of the story, there were 20,000 kids that walked across that stage last year. We gave them a high school diploma, and it didn't mean very much. They're going to have to take developmental courses. They may not be able to get in their college of choice. They may not be able to enter the military, and they may have to take remediation courses even before they take that first HVAC course in a technical or certification program. And you do the math, about 16% of those 20,000 would be right here in Louisville. So what I'm excited about is the partnership and the focus on kids and the bold leadership you have here. Does that mean I'm not going to criticize a little bit every once in a while? No, but I don't need to anymore because Dr. Hargens already listed everything. So thank you for the opportunity to come in person today and to thank this community. Now let me tell the community one thing. Don't let up. GLI, don't let up. Parents, don't let up. Community leaders, don't let up. Support these teachers, support these principals, support this district board and superintendent, and I'll be happy to come back every single year and congratulate you on the great job you're doing. Thank you.
Well, I know we're all so happy to be here. I mean, it's great to see the results, but Dr. Holliday, there's no let up in this community. We're just starting to taste a little of the good life here, good progress, so that tastes pretty good, and I can tell you we're going to keep going. And the key to me, I got to say, when Dr. Hargens came to town, was setting this goal and making this statement of, we will be the best large public urban school district in the country. And she knew when she said that, and she would say, but we're not. But great organizations embrace the facts. They're weakness-oriented. Yes, we want to talk about what's going well, but we also want to be real honest about where the gaps are and where we need to improve. And that's what we're seeing from the school board. That's what we're seeing from Dr. Hargens. That's what we're seeing from the administration and the faculty. And the kids embrace it as well. I love the way they embrace it, because they embrace it almost in a way and say, okay, we're going to show you adults that you're wrong. We're going to succeed. And they get right in. And that is a beautiful thing to see with people. And I get to see that when I go and have the close the deal speeches at the various high schools. So the kids stepped up in a big way. Teachers stepped up in a big way. They've embraced tougher academic standards. They haven't said, oh, woe is me, as the doc just said. They said, okay, we got to adjust. And I've had many teachers say, we've had to learn some new tricks ourselves. And that's been good for us. We were in kind of a rut. We've got to be models of lifelong learning as well. And so here we are, where we see the progress that we're seeing here today, which is a great step, but it's just a step. We got a long way to go. And I love that everybody in the community embraces that. We all know the 55,000 degree, 15,000 degrees, and we're starting with the kids in elementary school all the way through the kids that are college and career ready when they graduate from high school. So off we go. And the data shows us some really good stuff. It shows us that focused leadership works. You know, a year ago, 2 years ago, it was a theory. But we can sit here today and say, okay, that theory worked. How are we going to improve it? How are we going to apply it to other schools? 13 of the 18 priority schools hitting their goals. I think that's pretty darn good. And I know the other 5 will as well. We're here at Fern Creek. We got Houston Barber, a great principal here, leading a team of great teachers like Joe Franzen is here. Great success. But 75 schools, another 80 need to hit their goals. We'll do that. Struggling kids need more help. The data is overwhelming right now that when kids enter school, kindergarten, if a kid from an at-risk community, at-risk family, will start 3 years behind the other 6-year-olds. How do you ever make that up? That's another topic for another day, but as a community, we have to address that more directly and take that challenge head on, because when these kids are 3 years behind at age 6, they're not going to be in good shape at grade 3, grade 8, grade 12. As a community, we'll address that more directly, I hope, in the near future as well. We should celebrate. JCTA really stepped up in this last contract negotiation. They knew the whole community was watching, and that wasn't their motivation. The motivation was, how can we be more flexible? How can we not squabble over pay? How can we get more STEM graduates? How can JCTA and Dr. Hargens reach out to each other and say, what do these kids need? And we've seen more money go to struggling kids, longer school days, all those things that are common sense. But we saw it come together over a handshake. You know, not months and years of legal squabbling or strikes that you see in other cities. To me, I said, we are on the way. When we learned about that as a community, that we are truly coming together here. So we are really blessed and fortunate to have great leaders like Dr. Hargens. Brent McKim stepped up with JCTA leadership as well, and we're appreciative of that. So it's fantastic to see these great and can-do attitudes that we're seeing from all of our team members here. And I got to tell you, my goal as a business guy that just happens to be mayor right now, when I talk to companies that want to come to town, I want to hear them say, we want to locate in Louisville because we want to be part of JCPS. We want to send our kids to JCPS. We want to be able to brag about JCPS as an economic development attractor for our community. So we know we have to be diligent, and there's a lot of work left to do. This is clearly about our future, Dr. Holliday. There's no question about that. The world is changing rapidly. People are moving to cities. Cities that are going to win are going to be cities that embrace innovation and excel in innovation. And obviously that's where our kids come from to make that happen. So let's use this encouraging news to fuel further results. Let's be proud of the fact that we've attacked this Common Core like no other state. We were the first state in the country to accept the Common Core because we know we have to compare our results against best in country, best in world, and that's what our kids deserve. They don't deserve us hiding under a rock and acting like the world hadn't changed, and we want lower standards so we can pretend we're the best. Winning teams do not do that. So embracing the Common Core and defending that is super important. So let's look at the data and see where we can all pitch in. Community challenge. I'd like to give one right now. You heard from Dr. Hargens. What are the top 3 things we need to focus on? Reading, reading, and reading, right? Until grade 3, a child learns to read. After grade 3, you read to learn. So if they're not on grade level reading by grade 3, we got community problems. Everybody can step up and be part of Everyone Reads. We reissued that challenge about 3 weeks ago. We've got 500 new volunteers. We need 1,000 more. So media, please put that on your programs tonight. We need 1,000 more volunteers for Everyone Reads. This is how everybody can help. And if those people want to complain about JCPS, say, here's how you can help. You make a difference. It's easy to be a critic, and it's easy to be a saint. Okay, so I just want to say the transformation is everybody's job. I'm going to take a little risk here, Principal Michelle Dillard. Let's close with you. No excuses?
Just results.
Failure?
It's not an option.
Right on. All right.
Dr. Holliday, I know you can see that this school board will not let up. This mayor will not let up. And this community will not let up. A key focus area in our strategic plan is community engagement and stakeholder involvement. And actually, there's a table as you came in about how you can sign up for Everyone Reads. So I really want all of our community partners that are here today to stand up so that we can give you a hand. So community leaders and partners that are here, stand up so we can applaud you. Dr. Holliday, that's what I call Louisville strong. So they are a power to be reckoned with. What I want to do is also highlight the work of the Jefferson County Public Education Foundation and our work with the Ford Fund and our 5-star design high schools. Audwin Helton is an example of a community leader that exemplifies the benefit of having businesses and business leaders working with our students. So I invite Mr. Helton to make a comment.
I stand here on behalf of those folks that you just saw stand up, the community leaders, the business leader. Jim Allen is chairman of the Jefferson County Public Education Foundation, so I stand here on behalf of that group also. And it's nice to look out to all the educators and for me to represent that group and tell you to use us, call us. I will tell you that I said that about 20 years ago, and the phone rang just as soon as I got back to my desk. And we started the mentoring program, the mental quality program, and I have a couple of my fraternity brothers here, and that program is still going after 20 years. So I encourage you educators, call us, call the people that you saw stand up. And I guarantee you all of them are my friends, and they'll take heed, and they'll make sure that we get behind you and we support you in every way. And as a citizen in the business world, there are 2 things that I practice at recognizing. One is to make sure that those arrows are always going up and to make sure that there's evidence of success. And I think we saw strong evidence of success today by all the data that we've seen so far. JCPS saw improvement at all levels, elementary, middle, and high. The district itself surpassed its annual improvement goal set by KDE. But one stat that really stood out to me was college and career ready, because that is where I get the fruit of all of your labor, that those kids are going to college and they're going to be career ready, whether they come to me to make maps or whether they go on to school. That's where we need our young people to be. And we surpassed that goal. In 2012, that statistic was 47.5, and here in 2013, it's 51.2%. College and career ready means that those kids are ready for us in the business community. And those kids are prepared to join our teams, they're prepared to be innovative, and they're prepared to make sure that we in the business community and we in the community at large are ready to thrive. The success of these students will translate into the success of our business community. So we have a valuable stake in this game. And fortunately, JCPS has a wonderful game plan in the strategic plan Vision 2015 and great leadership from Dr. Hargens and our school board members. Those results reaffirm that this plan works. One of the 4 focus areas and 8 of the 36 strategies in Vision 2015 involve us in the community, us in the business world. So I urge all members of the business community, and those that aren't here, Jim, I know that you'll join me, and Ben and Raul will go back into the community, and we'll ask to get others to step up and support you. We need to make sure that our business community help to celebrate student and educator accomplishments. And Jim has done a great job of that by actually this year having his company to step up and provide scholarships and provide incentives and rewards for teachers and principals, and we applaud him for that. We need to host internships and job shadowings. We had externships this past summer, and that was a great success, and we hope to expand upon that. And you've heard the Everyone Reads program. Read, read, read. We need to make sure that we get our volunteer numbers up and surpass all levels that we've had in the past. We need to design and participate in out-of-school time learning events, and I'm sure all the principals will applaud that. When those kids get home from school, we need to make sure that there is out-of-school time to spend on those kids to learn, and help you do your jobs better. Another way we can get involved is to support the Jefferson County Public Education Foundation. It is our job to support the superintendent and to support the board by asking for money, and I think we do it pretty well. So when the superintendent and the board has other ideas, we need to make sure that we go out there and act on your behalf and ask the business community for funds that can help us do a better job of educating our kids. So JCPS is making strong progress, and we have a strong plan. So I will close with 2 equally important observations. The city, under the leadership of this mayor, has said that we are a compassionate community, and we are compassionate about our schools. And we want to make sure that we are the best urban school district in the nation, and that is a very hard charge, and I've heard our superintendent say it since she first got here, and she's saying it today. We are an urban school district, an urban school district. That means you open your doors, you educate everyone that enters into your classrooms, and I have take great pride in knowing so many of you principals, and I applaud you for accepting that challenge, because everyone that steps foot in the doors of your school, it is your task to make sure that we do our very best job to educate them. But the most important thing for all of us to know, and especially us as community leaders, is that for us to be the best urban school district in the nation, it takes all of us to support you. So I pledge my support, and I think I can successfully say to all of the folks who are here from the community and the business world that we support you, and we'll make sure that you get there with our help. Thank you.
We so much appreciate this community and all the support that we receive. I want to thank you all for coming here today. Progress, but much work to do. There is actually school going on at Fern Creek High School right now. Isn't that right, Principal Barber? So not to disrupt the dismissal, we want to make sure that we conclude today's program in a timely manner. So we will conclude now. For members of the media that would like to ask follow-up questions, we will be here for a few minutes afterwards to answer any questions. So again, thank all of you in this room for your continued support of Jefferson County Public Schools and for your commitment.